Hey, it's Bilal, and this is Deep Sea, the podcast about seeing the world more deeply. Recently, I've had my head stuck in studying the Reformation, the English Reformation, when King Henry VIII broke away from the Catholic Church. What struck me about that research was how there are so many parallels to what we're seeing today in the UK with Brexit. Back then, King Henry VIII wanted to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, but he was unable to, as the Pope and the Catholic Church had authority over marriage and other laws in the UK. He broke away, which was a kind of Brexit of its day. It was a protest over the control of a supranational organization that emanated over in continental Europe. Today, of course, we have Brexit, which has been going on for several years now, where we have something similar. The UK is trying to assert its sovereignty over the European Union. On a somewhat tangential but related point, this weekend in the UK, the clocks move backwards. And for me, this is always a sign that we're deep into autumn and winter is coming. Autumn is a season of harvesting and taking what's left of the earth. And of course, winter follows. It's a time of hibernation, short, dark, and often cold days, but a necessary one before we move on to spring, where everything brightens up again. What both of these things tell me is there's a cyclicality to our lives. So in the political realm, this political instability we're seeing today, we've seen numerous times before, not least when the UK had its Reformation under King Henry VIII. Likewise with time, the year progresses through seasons. We have summer, we have autumn, we have winter, we have spring, and they repeat themselves one after the other. So any one point in time, it may seem cold and dark, but inevitably things do change. And often the period of darkness can be a time of great internal growth, whether that applies to nature and the seasons, or to ourselves and our lives, or to the political realm. Now, of course, this also applies to lives. We're born, we become teenagers, we then mature into adults, we enter middle age, we start declining in health, but growing in wisdom. We enter the elderly phase of our lives, then we pass away. This is inevitable. We all have to face it. We see it in ourselves, but also we see it in the generation above. So while these transitions can be painful, they shouldn't necessarily come as a surprise. And I, for one, am learning how to accept these transitions, whether they're associated with gloominess, sadness, or uncertainty. But where I know, looking at all of these other types of cycles, that underneath them all, there's a lot of necessary changes and internal growth that's happening. And what we know, what follows the darker days of autumn and winter, are the sunnier growth periods of spring and summer. And that's something we certainly can look forward to. Thanks for listening. If you're interested in that research I was doing on King Henry VIII and Brexit, you can see the output of that work on macrohive.com. Also, you can follow me on Twitter on my handle @BilalHafiz123 or on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'll be back soon, so tune in then.